Okay, I just thought I'd do a quick tutorial on just the initial stages of using Descript to edit your podcast. Now, you might be using Pro Tools, or you might be using Resolve or Audacity. Descript is different because in Descript, you can edit just by using text, because one thing it's very good at is transcribing, and I just thought I would take you through that process. And the great thing about being able to edit just using the text is that you don't necessarily need to know how to use a nonlinear editor. So if you don't have those skills, Descript is a great way of editing a podcast quickly. There's also loads of other benefits to using Descript, which is why we are, even though we're trained on using professional tools, just because it makes life easier and it's quicker. And I think it's really well suited to doing podcasts. Anyway, so this is the latest episode of the Meat Puppets, just how it looks inside Descript, just so you get an idea. But let's just have a little play so you can see.
Let's put that at the front of the podcast.
Based on a true story.
No, this is totally fictional.
Yeah, so you can see there. This is the text. Here's the audio down here, but we'll totally get into all of that. So we record using something called Squadcast. This is what Squadcast looks like. And this is a previous recording we've done here over on the right. The reason we use Squadcast is we're all in remote locations. So Paul's at home in his bedroom. Andy, we had a guest this week, so Denise, he was at home, and I'm in my loft. So this enables us to easily record individual files for all of us. And I think that's a really good way of doing it, because then you have clean audio of each individual person appearing on your podcast. So you can see here, we've got different takes. I'm just going to have a look at take 2, which we used. So take 2 here. And these are the people who are in take 2, Paul, Martin, and Denise. And there is a way from going from Squadcast straight into Descript, because Descript bought Squadcast not so long ago. But I don't do that. I find it a little bit clunky. So what we're going to do is we're going to download all the files to our local storage. We actually use Google Drive to store all of our files, but it could just be on your local computer or whatever. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you download all of these. Yes, you can just click get all files here. Or if you've recorded it elsewhere, just make sure you've got them somewhere accessible. So we've downloaded them all to Google Drive, as you'll see here. So this is just all the files from Squadcast. So anyway, I'm going to jump back into Descript, and we're going to start a new project to take it right from the beginning. So go back to projects, just go to my private workspace, and I'm going to do a new project. So let's do new audio project. And I'm going to call this tutorial, just for the sake of it. So this is the page that you're greeted with when you first get to start a new composition and a new project inside Descript. Don't worry about it too much. But you can just click return, enter, and it'll take you into the actual project. So I've done that, and then we're just greeted with this, just this screen. So what I need to do first of all is I need to add files. So across the top here, on the top left, you've got this media here. So if you click on that, it will open up this media window where you can add files into Descript, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to click add files. It's going to take me to these files here. So I'm just going to select the files that I want. So when you record in Squadcast, the ones that are recorded at the same time are numbered. So you'll see Denise 2 here. You'll see Martin 2, and you'll see Paul 2. So I'm just going to select those files, hold down Control. So I'm selecting multiple files there. Hold down Control, and I'm just going to click Open. Okay, so it's brought these 3 files in here with them all selected. You see this, it's offering me an option to create a sequence. So I do want to do that. And what will that do? That'll do is take those 3 files and lay them into a sequence so I hear everybody's voice. If I was just going to use one of the files, I'd only hear Paul, or my file, I'd only hear me. So I'm just going to create a sequence first. So I'm going to click Create Sequence. And you see, as soon as I do that, it opens up this other window where you'll see those 3 files together there. And if I just give these a little bit of a quick play. Okay, I never know how to start these, Andy. That's me. So I'm going to start it with this. So, Andy. Hello, Andy. We'll introduce. So that is our raw recording. So you can just click done up in this top right-hand corner here. So now you'll see we have this sequence that's appeared here. And you can see that, it's denoted by this little 2 boxes here. What we need to do now is transcribe these files. So that is asking Descript to have a listen and generate text of what we said. So you need to do that for each one of these. So I'm just going to click on these 3 little dots here and go down to transcribe file. Now it gives you this message. It asks you what language it's in. I'm going to assume you're doing it in English, but if you're not recorded in English, you can pick some other language. I've never actually used any of this, but I imagine it makes your transcription better. So I'm going to click transcribe. I wouldn't worry about this bit just yet, so I'm not really worried about this. I'm just going to click done. And then I'm going to have to do this for each one of our files. So I'm going to come down to Martin. I'm going to go down to transcribe. English again. Might ask me about the speakers. There's 1 speaker in it. I'm just going to click done. And then go back into my media tool. I'm going to do the same for Paul. Transcribe. Transcribe. And we'll wait a little while for this to actually happen. So now it's going through and transcribing each file. So it'll associate some text with each one. This can take maybe a couple of minutes. Bear in mind, we recorded way over an hour. So it's pretty quick. I'll just cut this and we'll come back when it's ready. Okay, so it's almost finished transcribing now. So what we want to do is get this sequence down onto our main page here. So if we go up to the add media, which is just up here, and we click on this sequence. The important thing is not to click on your individual files, because that will just insert the individual files in. What you want to do is click on this little drop down and you'll see the sequence. And you'll see this option to insert into script. So I'm just going to insert this sequence into my script. So I've just done that. And there you go. So it has transcribed everything. So you'll see if you just click here and then hit play at the bottom here.
Here we go.
Okay. I never know how to start these, Andy. So I'm going to start it with this. So you'll see there, it's picked out the bits from each file. It's given them this weird name. Don't worry about that for now. And it's generated a transcript. And what this is down here is you have a color-coded waveform. So when I'm speaking, it's purple. When Denise is speaking, it's green. And when Paul is speaking, it's this weird sort of salmon color. So if I right-click anywhere in this sequence, anywhere at all at the bottom, if I right-click, you get this little thing pop up that says Edit Sequence. You can use Control-Shift-O to do this. But if I go into Edit Sequence, you'll see there, these are the individual files that you put into that sequence as before. So I'm just going to close that. Now, you could just leave it like this, but I like to keep it a little bit cleaner. I don't like the fact it's just named the speaker by the file. I don't like that. So if I just click on here, click on the name, and then click this little settings thing here, it lets me name these names. So I'm going to name Denise. He's actually called Denise Anthony, so Denise Anthony. I'm going to name Martin, that's me, Martin Riley. I'm going to name Paul Billington. So as soon as I've done that, you'll see it's changed everything now on the scripts. So you'll see that, Denise is Denise, I'm Martin Riley, and Paul Billington is Paul Billington. Just feels a lot cleaner and actually makes a load more sense if you are actually going to create any video content in Descript, which you absolutely can do, but we're not going to do in this tutorial. So what we've done is we've taken our original files, we've downloaded them either to Google Drive or wherever you store your files. We've brought them into Descript via this little media file here, and then we've got Descript to transcribe them. We've also renamed our speakers so they seem normal, not some weird file name. So, and I'm just going to show you how easy this is. So, let's just play from the beginning.
Here we go.
Okay. I never know how to start these, Andy. So I'm going to start it with this. So, Andy. So let's just decide that the point I want this whole podcast to start is, so, Andy, literally, literally just highlight this text. And you will notice it's also highlighting down the bottom here. So, but all I've done is highlighted text like in a Word document. I hit delete. And now it starts at, so Andy, hello Andy, we'll introduce you in a minute. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you, and it is that simple. So maybe I'll get rid of, we'll introduce you in a minute. Let's just delete that. So that's deleted. Andy, hello Andy. So I was doing a little bit of digging and say I want rid of these little laughs. So let's hit delete again. Hello Andy. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you. Because I thought, so we've got rid of those laughs. Andy, hello Andy. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you. Because I thought we've got a guest on. We've got a guest on, Paul. Now you might notice that Andy says ooh a little bit there. We've got a little bit of overlap. A little bit of digging on you. And you can see the overlap down here in green because it's Andy. So I know it's Andy, but it's not put the text up because I'm in the middle of a sentence. So I'll just show you how to clean that up. It's really, really simple. So if I go down to that point in the script down here, you can see it down here. And if I right click, and it'll bring up this little menu where I can go to edit sequence. So I'll just go to the edit the sequence, and it opens up this window that we saw before, this edit sequence. So I just need to find that ooh. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you. There it is. This is the ooh here. You can see it. So I'm going to hit B, which takes me into the blade tool. I'm going to put a cut in there. I'm going to put a cut in here. And then I'm going to hit A on my keyboard, which takes me back to the arrow tool. You can do these just over here on the right-hand side. It has got, these are your tools, and it does show you what the shortcuts are if you just overlay them. You can just click on these instead. But anyway, if I go back over here, so I'm back on the arrow tool. I just want to get rid of that ooh. I just click on it, I hit backspace, and now there's a gap. So if we want to just have a listen to that, and just take this back a little bit and just have a listen. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you because I thought we've got a guest on. We've got a guest on. So then if I hit done now, you'll notice that little bit of green is gone from Andy's thing there, and we haven't got that overlap anymore. So I was going to hit play here. I was doing a little bit of digging on you because I thought we've got a guest on. We've got a guest on, Paul. Which is an easy way to clean it up. And then basically you can just go through your entire podcast like this and edit it exactly as you'd like, just by cutting and pasting the text. You will notice that the transcripts sometimes get things wrong. So I was looking at this little line here. Do you have to do a little bit of research for your guest? So it's misunderstood me there because of my terrible Manc accent. It's gone, do you have to do a little bit of research for your guest? So I said for your guest, it's come through as if your guest. So there's a really easy way to correct that. So if you just select the word you want to correct, it brings up this little menu, and I can just literally click on correct. And instead of if, I'm going to put for, click correct, and then it kind of works out where that needs to go. So here we go. So you have to do a little bit of research for your guest. And it's also picked the wrong your. So I'm just going to correct that. And if I can do that, now you can, instead of clicking on correct, just hit C, and it brings that up. I'm just going to type your, click correct, and there you go. Do you have to do a little bit of research for your guest?
And I'm not like Andy, so I'm going to turn my camera off so I don't distract myself.
Yeah, so it's that simple, really. And I find this a really, really quick way of editing. And what's really useful about doing it this way is then you're correcting your transcripts as you're editing, which is great. And then Descript has a load of options for creating video and creating automated text. And so getting this right is good to do first time round. Pretty much, if you can do it in Word, you can do it with your audio. So if for whatever reason I wanted to reorder something and I wanted to take this whole bit of text here and have it come later, so I'm just going to pick somewhere random and say I'm going to drop it in after good one. So I've just selected that text there, Control X, so cut like you would do in Word, gets rid of all that, and I'm just going to hit a return after Raoul good one, then Control V, which is paste, and paste that in there. So instead of this bit being right at the beginning, now it comes here. So I'll just play that so you can have a listen. To YouTube.
All right, good one.
So, Andy, hello, Andy. So I was doing a little bit of digging on you because I thought we've got a guest on. We've got a guest on, Paul.
We do have a guest on, yeah.
I thought we've got a bloody guest on.
You've got to do something now.
And you've actually been on a podcast. And there it's just reordered your entire text. And just like in Word, you can hit Control-Z to undo, and it'll take you back to where you were. So there we go. That's now back at the beginning. And this bit back here is exactly as it was. And this is why I love using Descript. There's loads of other reasons. But I just thought if you were thinking of having a go at editing your podcast inside Descript, that's how you go about it. Really, really simple. There you go.